You gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between. You gotta spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum, have faith or pandemonium's liable to walk upon the scene. Accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative, and latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between.
My name's Adam, and I've spent the last 20 years of my career leading, growing, and building companies and teams for lasting impact. It would be my honor to come alongside you and help you to do the same thing. Whether it's in the corporate world, a brand new small business startup, or a 100-year-old family business, I've seen it and I've led it. Starting with defining your purpose beyond profit, we unlock strategies across every part of your business so that we can arrive at what I call asymmetric endurance, allowing you to get your time back while the business continues to grow, succeed, and achieve its true purpose. If you're ready to build an unbreakable business, let's talk. Book 15 minutes with me today at kingdommindsetstrategies.com.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everyone, to Miracles Online Podcast, episode number 24.
Wow.
Episode today is titled, Do You Love Me or Need Me? Have you ever asked that question or been confused between love and need? That's what we're going to talk about today.
That's right.
So stay tuned. And Jeff?
We're here.
We're here.
I'm Jeff,
Wow.
and this is...
I'm Kat.
Yeah, we're Miracles Online Podcast. Thank you. We're here to talk about marriage and commitments and dating and relationships. And this is something very dear to us because sometimes we've come to recognize that the clinginess is what actually cost our previous relationships. Whether I did it or whether the other person did it, we realized that is very different than loving someone. So we're going to dive deep today and really talk about how not to cross that boundary and become needy, which is not attractive, is what I've always heard from others.
Sure. And where it comes from, because and once you dive deep and figure out, well, where does that come from? Then you identify it, then there's hope to change it and not be, coming from those early desperation feelings, often disguised as romance.
Well, let me start and ask you then, how much is let's say somebody's effort, in your opinion, that they're putting out that you all of a sudden go, well, hold on a second, you're being a little bit too much, and it comes across needy?
Sure. I think there's a lot of telltale signs, Jeff. And let's say early on, and we've talked about this, I believe, in previous episode for online dating, when you're just, as I call it, flipping over the cards one by one until you go, oh, no, that's a deal breaker, and you fold the deck. You're just starting to find out what they're all about. If someone comes on, I think, too hard, heavy, and fast in a very short time, with no investment into the relationship, into your time together, that can certainly be a warning sign that, wait a minute, they haven't invested really enough time. We haven't invested enough time together for that to be real.
Okay. And you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. It's about how much time has been invested into it, becomes that effort that sometimes come across as smothering.
Sure.
Right? Or something of like, did you like what I did? I did this for you. Did you like it?
Yes. Looking too much outwardly for validation.
Yes.
I think that's, unattractive to most people. Now, to some people, again, or they say for every pot there's a lid, for every rip there's a tear. For some people who have that rescue mentality, that might be great. That's just what they're looking for. But I don't think either one of that dynamic is healthy. To be the damsel in distress or the knight in shining armor, which of course was illustrated, and we've talked about this in the past in television and movies, etc. But it's not healthy.
No,
that's really not healthy.
As a matter of fact, it wears thin really fast, and this is, of course, personal experience. I will very much say that when this happened to me.
Over 27 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've been together a long time.
Well, this was like last month with our neighbor.
Hello.
No. Yeah, this is when I was still in the dating pool. And I had dating pool. I was waiting in the dating pool. And when you're dating and you're trying to see what kind of dynamic a relationship would develop. And I realized that one of the lovely young lady that I was dating had a over exuberant so-called energy about, I did this for you. I did this for you.
Which is so sweet. And
it's
that
very sweet.
And that, I'm sure, was, maybe ego gratifying, or even, wow, that's really nice. This is, a really sweet person trying to please me. But when the intensity is overzealous, only you in that situation then can gauge, like, this is a bit much. Well, yeah, it's like she's coming off as, like you said, needy,
overwhelming.
Yeah, overwhelmingly needy.
First thing came to my mind is, damn, did I pour it on too thick, and now she's so into it that she's like, ooh. So I kind of thought to myself, I was like, maybe I need to dial back.
Maybe you need to tone it down.
Yeah, well, because I'm a very, and I'll say self-professed, a savvy romantic guy. So I remember even at an early age, even back in high school, before I was, got my head on straight and aligned and balanced, I was really good at sweet talking to the girls. And I don't know where I might have learned it on TV. I don't know. I just know this, that if you're sensitive about certain things in life, and you're sensitive about a certain connection, and if you really play on that, other people don't. So all of a sudden I have an advantage. And I know that sounds really crappy because it sounds like I was using a tactic to get dates.
Yeah, it does.
To get girls.
Actually,
in a lot of ways, yeah, because, for those out there who've seen my podcast and so forth, know my history, realize that I was a kid that was looking for approval, especially being a foreign kid that has come to America and then learn the language and learn how to be in a social circle and be in that situation.
And every kid, to varying degrees, maybe not as severe as yours, but is looking for approval. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying that the aspect of, okay, so I'm romancing the stone and I'm, hey, you got beautiful eyes and all that. And all of a sudden this thing comes back tenfold. Oh, here's for you, King Midas. Here's for you, King Midas. And it got to a point where it's like, oh, okay, everybody stop here. Okay, now we're starting to lose reality is what happens. We start to lose the realism of this relationship that's supposed to be a give and take.
Right. It becomes unbalanced, I think.
Yeah. And let me just add this to conclude that the balance of the relationship, it's not 50-50. It's this constant swirl of
ebb and flow.
The balance of the percentage, sometimes 99 to 1.
Sure. Sometimes
100 to 0. But it doesn't sit like that as the norm because it constantly goes back. And then next day it could be the opposite, 99, 1. So to recognize that is to honor that.
Sure.
All right. And to me, that the needy aspect of it also disconnects us. And it becomes a narrow focus of, am I doing something that helps you to approve me, to justify my actions? Are you willing to do anything to let me satisfy and bask in my own success of doing something for you? That always comes back to the creator, the one that's giving.
Well, and I go back to, my sons, do not deny me the gift of giving.
There's that.
Right.
Well, I understand that very much so. But when you're in a dynamic relationship from a male to female, that type of intimacy relationship, that type of romantic and that type of mind, body, spiritual joining, rejoicing, this is very different than, let's say, you and your pals, you and your son, you and your cousins, whoever hanging out, because this is so uniquely one-on-one. This is the only one with you. So that has to be balanced. That cannot really have any kind of exceptions to the rules, because this is so well defined in sense of the loving relationship. Are you loving me, or are you loving the act of loving me? That's a difference, because if you're just loving the act, then I'm just producing my gratitude, my efforts, my so-called thinking of, and the passion to just the thought of our relationship, opposed to you, which is actually in the relationship. So that to me was a great awakening call, because it actually gave me something back to go, okay, why am I constantly finding myself in a pattern that I get a girlfriend that I really, in the beginning think, hey, this is pretty cool. We're seeming to get along. And then it starts to shift into the unbalance of whatever you want, to the point where I'm going, yeah, I guess I'm King Midas. I can get whatever I want, but I'm just not fulfilled. Not satisfied, but not fulfilled. So I have to take a step back. I have to learn within myself at that point and find out what is going on here. Am I being loved, or am I being needed, or am I just being used? And once I understood that helped tremendously to then forge the right path and then find you. And that's the big difference for.
And again, those things, we've talked about this before, can be rooted in, fear, abandonment, or early attachment wounds. Yeah. Why a young lady, or a young man would have that imbalanced need to please, right. Not feeling, that I'm not good enough syndrome that so many of us have struggled to overcome.
Mm-hmm. And two is the personality of the individual. Sure. Some people extremely are, let's say, receiving and loving this. And they love this off balance, overwhelming avalanche. Like my dad was this way with my mom. Okay. And my dad, he was my stepdad, but he was a great guy. But I can see the relationship between him and my mom being somewhat off balance, because he is so overwhelmingly this way, where she was just like, yeah, okay, all right. And I can see it.
And what was he overwhelmingly?
Overwhelmingly protective, overwhelmingly, I want to do things for you, overwhelmingly that, like, I'm going to go to this place. Okay, then he's getting dressed. I'm like, what are you getting dressed for? Well, he's going to go and drive her. Okay, it's a woman's event. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to sit in the car and then drive around and then pick her up. You could just say, goodbye, I'll see you when you get home. He won't have any of that, and then that's the part that actually taught me something watching this, because I see the frustration in my mom at that point of going, can I just have some space here? Can I just have my own identity here? And I saw this even sometimes at work. My mom was a hairstylist in one of those multiplex salons where people rent their rooms and so forth. So there was a camaraderie and a community there. And what I found was that my dad was hanging out there when he retired, opposed to being at home reading or doing anything he really liked. He would be hanging out with a bunch of poncy hairdressers and having a great time. But he was there because my mom was there. Yeah. And he just wanted to be around my mom all the time. Yeah. Is that smothering? Is that needing my mom? If you ever ask him anything like that, he shuts down and won't tell you a thing, because he was a very quiet guy. He came from a big family, but he was the quietest kid in that family. So therefore, that personality grew in.
Well, it evidently worked for them, because they were married a long time.
They married 50 plus years.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, until he passed. You know,
Yeah.
God bless him. He's still with us in a way,
Yeah,
in the
yes.
heavens way.
Yes.
But great guy. I just felt that to me was overbearing. And I
Mhm.
made a point to myself of saying that I will not do that because I can see the unbalance and the unhappiness of being needy in this sense. Even though it wasn't like he was needy, like, oh, you got to be here. Oh, you got to do this. But when you are infiltrating on somebody else's time, being my mom's time at that point of doing something that she may enjoy doing on her own.
I think couples need, you need your spouse space separately to come together and be more.
That's right.
And that's, another talking point that I'd like to bring up. And
Okay.
that is, Jeff, the difference between codependency and healthy interdependency. Because I would describe our relationship as a healthy interdependency.
And I enter quite a bit.
Really?
Thank you. I'll be appearing Thursday through Sunday at the main room at the Poconos Lodge.
So in simple terms, the main difference is losing yourself on the other side. Okay. In the other, interdependence honors two people whole, coming together.
Yeah.
And, we had that conversation before we actually got married. And that was that, in my experience, I wasn't looking for, dated quite a few individuals through my research for doing the book Miracles Online.
And I just like to jump in and say, I think I was the prettiest and the best looking.
You were.
One. Okay.
And you got the ring. So,
okay, so back to you.
But the most glaring thing was, talking to individuals, to guys, and thinking, oh, you've got so much baggage. At this point in my journey, in my life, I'm looking for someone, whole. I'm coming whole. You're coming whole. Together, we're more together. I'm not looking to fix anyone. And, I think until you've done the inner child work, the inner healing work, unfortunately, you will bringing those psychodynamics into a relationship, whether it manifests itself in neediness or other dynamics. You'll be working it through the relationships, until you get healthy within yourself.
Yeah, you carry that around with you constantly. Even if you don't identify with it, it's with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hardest part about being in a mature relationship. When you have thought processes that is driven by things that we learned at even before pre-K. So that
really, I didn't learn much before.
I don't think we take it in because, the thing, like you said, you may not learn it, but you might have internalized it. I remember things that, like memories from being in the crib. You told the story about being in the crib.
I was about 8 months old. I can, remember it like it was yesterday, because I remember thinking, wow, I need my diaper changed. And I had that FOMO, fear of missing out, because there were people downstairs.
Yeah.
It was a 2-story in Detroit, Michigan, and there was family downstairs laughing and having dinner. And I was upstairs in the crib by myself with a diaper full. And thinking,
But see, it's interesting that our minds would take events like that and then start patching certain decisions and certain beliefs from experiences like this. Because I remember as a child, I can't even begin to tell you how old I was, looking out a window and just wondering, where was my mom? And and then I remember asking my grandmother, saying, how old do I have to be before I call you mom? Thinking that it was that way.
Sure.
And because my uncle, who was his grandmother's son, was calling her mom, but yet I had to call her grandmother. I didn't get it. I didn't understand the pecking order of it.
Who was calling her mom?
Clement, my uncle.
Was calling grandma mom?
Yeah, because grandma was her mom or his mom.
Oh, yes.
Right. It's my mom's brother.
Yes. I keep forgetting that. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So for me, living in that household when he was a teenager, calling grandma mom, I thought I had to be that age to be having a mother.
Sure.
Because there's nothing more pressured, I think, for a child is you're watching TV and you have this programming of mom and dad. You go to school, pre-K, then you go to K, then you go to first grade and so forth. And everybody has a mom and dad. back in the days when I was growing up, and especially in Taiwan, very rare that you have anybody who was divorced or had, somebody who did not have a two-parent family. I know that we had one kid that was kind of goofy and kind of sloppy, and he only had a dad, and we made fun of it because of it.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I know it's terrible. I look back at these things, I just like, what were we thinking?
But so give the backstory. His mom was a teenager, barely a teenager when she got pregnant and had him.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
But it all came out for
I'm
whatever
saying
reason.
She wasn't divorced. Yeah.
She
was
wasn't.
Just she was super young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was definitely trivialized at that point at a young age. What relationship, what family was about. It didn't make sense to me. And also growing up in a family with my grandfather and grandmother, and grandpa being a actor who was on movie sets and TV stations and studios and things like that, made it even more absurd and more abstract than anybody else I was going to school with, anybody I was friends with. Everybody's dad was like going to business trips or going to an office or making a restaurant. And yet grandpa be hanging around the house, mopping the floor. And I'm like, okay, my grandfather's always here. Then all of a sudden he'll go, okay, bye. And he's leaving at 8:00 at night.
Yeah.
And an hour later, he's on TV.
Blessing. Yeah. What a blessing. You had a unique life. And, we could talk about, people in our family who, don't have a father figure in their home and their comparisons and so forth.
So, the reason why I've dragged all this up is to let everybody kind of understand dynamically for everyone is so different.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you don't just so-called thinking in your own head. Oh, this should not be because of why? Because you think of it. It's in your own thought.
And again, I think the first place to look at it is, what are some unmet needs from your childhood? That's the first place to look, to go, okay, where do I need to do an uninstall and reinstall? Am I just on autopilot, attracting relationships to help fill the void in what was missing in my first language of love and learning of love as a young person? And that is so very different,
It is.
People grow up with
and that's the
no
beauty
parents, divorced parents, you name it, the story is so different.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that's the beauty of that does not dictate our lives, our ways of relationship. You could have the worst environment and still coming out smelling like a rose because of your choices, because the way you want your life.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of I wanted in my life. I changed everything that I was brought up to believe in into something much better serving to me as a human being. The balance of the mind, body, spirit, the heart open, opposed to being closed and protected, and hiding from the real world and so forth. Once it's open, it just changed everything about me. There was no more chip on my shoulder. And then when we got into a relationship and how that could be nurtured and grow, and despite of the obstacles that we've talked about previous episodes, it was never going to shut down because my heart was open. Now, can you imagine if I never had my heart open and we were through the so-called infatuation period? It would have been destroyed because I didn't understand what it meant to have heart-to-heart connection. So that is something that's always a so-called the cornerstone of the difference between, are you being loved or are you being needed? Because if that person doesn't know how to open your heart, that person may not have their so-called spiritual mindset and everything in the Trinity balanced, so to speak, for this great love of the lives between you and that person. At the same time, are you open? Are you the one that's being needy? Are you the one that's constantly in fear of losing something good? And you're always wanting something great. So you're constantly working so hard to get this something great. And you're going, this is really moving. This is really working. But I just can't let this up because I can't let it fall apart.
And I think that's because you're looking for someone else to make you happy, someone else to fill that void. Mm-hmm. And again, if you're coming together in a relationship with the void going, that saying is so wrong. You complete me.
Well, no, I don't think that's wrong. I just think it's taken in the wrong context.
I think it's taken in the wrong context.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I like I said the story before, when I was looking for you, I didn't go, I'm looking for a girl named Kathleen. I didn't, it wasn't that.
You
It was,
didn't?
no, it was, I knew that she better be really pretty because I'm going to have to look at her for the rest of my life. That's very shallow of me, I
Yes,
know,
it
but
is.
but I also know this in my mind that there has to be an attraction.
Well, of course.
Right. But the key factor for me on that particular moment was that I've done enough dating and I've done enough self-awareness to recognize that now for someone to be the yin to my yang, it's the completion of the life circle. For me to be the true essence of balance and to create the greatness, not by myself anymore, but with someone else, then that future was extremely attractive. It was extremely motivated to go there. That's why for me to say, you complete me, absolutely. But not in the sense that I was not worth it and not whole by myself.
Right. That we were more. And I've always said that
Yeah.
we each come complete and together we expand into more than we could ever be alone.
Oh, no question on being alone is good because it gives you a lot of time to take inventory, take time to develop, put together plans, enrich yourself, develop yourself, and refine yourself. Those are all things you have to do on your own. Without it, you're going to kind of almost limp into a contest or into the competition or into the relationship, however you want to spend this. The bottom line is, were you prepared? Were you prepared to give it all? And what is your all? Is your all capacity measurable in sense of just the things you do? Because if that's how you are so-called keeping track of what's going on, then that will come across as needy to another person. And how do you know that you're not doing that overwhelmingly? Well, because then you take the same notes and reciprocally receive from your partner, giving you the same type of effort. Maybe not the same things, but you can feel the intentions and the effort being balanced and equal to.
Ebb and flow. Absolutely. It's not going to feel like that queasy feeling that you had when, that particular young lady was smothering you and overzealously doing everything for you. It started to feel.
It was just like, it started to feel like the same story that I've had previously. Yeah.
So you seem to attract that, huh? Because I don't think I did that.
No, you did.
I was trying to please you.
Well, you were reciprocally balancing with me.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right.
Because there were some times in the very beginning, I just went, man, how mean are you?
Me?
Yeah, I thought that. And it's because I had so much schlepping, laying down type of personality partners and girlfriends.
How mean was I?
Let's see.
Seriously?
Stop that. Put the belt away. No, because of
in comparison with these.
That's right.
Super needy,
That's right.
You have to realize too, I was a independent single mother of 3, very successful in my career, financially and otherwise, and very independent.
I get it. And that's why.
And a survivor.
It took me a little bit to really get it, to understand how you were and how you were in sense of the way you thought about it. If I asked you to do something, you were like, who do you think I am? I'm not one of those bimbos you run around with. And I'm like, where's that coming from? When did
I say that?
Back in the early days.
Okay, so I'm sure there was some. Yeah, we're going to have a little discussion after this.
Are we now?
I'm sure there was some getting to know you, because I needed to teach you how to treat me.
No.
I needed to teach you how to treat me.
Well, I think what it was is that
vice versa.
The thing was not even about how to treat you. It's just us understanding what we were saying to each other, not taking upon that what I said meant something in your own world differently.
Right.
And once we understood
you could
each
come
other,
off a little barky and directive, and when you're talking to someone who
because I'm
spent
focused
12 to 14 years on her own, purchasing her own home, making 6 figures, raising 3 kids, you don't come in and boss me around.
Well, I was the man, and
Yeah.
in my society, we were taught men wears the pants.
All righty.
No, it definitely, it taught me different things about communication. It taught me also, number one, stop knee jerking on every emotion that you feel. And that's key. And I always say, what is the key? What is the key point? What are the key things? When you start to go inside your own head and you start to interpret and manufacture certain thoughts of what you think your partner, your wife, or your girlfriend, or whoever on the other side is doing to you, you have to recognize, are you self-sabotaging yourself by your own thoughts? And if you are not clear about that, you need to stop and go into the communicative and use proper communication. And you need to go through, I'm feeling this. And the reason why I'm feeling this is because you said this. And I don't think you mean that, do you?
I did.
See? And that's why she was mean. No.
Well, here's a funny thing. After how many hours of marathon on the phone, I remember thinking to myself, I wonder if this guy has a sense of humor. Right?
We were very
Of course,
serious
he's the
for
biggest
many days.
goofball. we do have fun, and he has a grand
And we're going to do
sense
an
of
episode
humor.
about being fun in a relationship. So,
Being
you
fun?
know,
We
yeah,
are.
yeah. So it's not
'Cause you
just,
gotta have
it's
fun.
always talky.
Yeah, no,
it's
gotta
not
have
that.
fun. Got to have fun.
Yeah.
Girls just want to have fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta have fun. So I think we've had some good talking points here.
Yep.
And I'm going to, I've got a letter.
You got a new letter?
Yep, I've got a new letter that
Okay.
I'd like to read.
Okay. So before you read that, we're going to make sure our audience out there, please like and subscribe this podcast and share our podcast. We
QR
looking to
code,
grow.
pick up the book, Miracles Online.
That's right. You can go, I think it actually goes to their website. You can get to know Kat a little bit more. You can see her in different color hats and things like that.
But do we have my website on
It's
the
on there.
stream?
No. It's on the
Kat Trelawney's?
it's on the QR
Oh,
code.
it is. Oh, okay. So can they QR code this on the stream while they're streaming? How
It
does that
could
work?
be. I mean, you can just press pause and then take your, use your phone on it.
Oh.
I've done it before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting how QR
Yeah,
codes
it'll
actually
take
work,
you right
isn't
to my website. You can see all the different hats I wear, and you can buy the book if you like. Or you can go to Yayu Publishing, YAYU Publishing.com.
And I forgot to mention last about our Miracles Online Substack. So Miracles Online, Kat Jeff. It's not even N in there. It's definitely just Miracles Online Kat Jeff .substack.
Oh, I didn't even know that. You have to share that with me.
Yeah.
But yes, go on our Substack because we are stacking that Substack.
Yeah, we're putting a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, on every episode. We're even doing sometimes a couple.
Yeah.
So just a quick quote from the book. Not all love is love. Some is a cry for rescue dressed in romance. That's found in the book Miracles Online. And I'm going to read this letter from someone who sent it in. It says, I've been sitting with your book, and one line in particular has stayed with me. When love is chosen from wholeness, it doesn't complete you, it expands you. I have to remember that. I don't think I realized until recently how much of my history with love was rooted in needing someone to fill the gaps in me, to soothe the fear, to give me a sense of identity. Oh, that's another one. But that's not love. That's survival wrapped in longing. The idea that we can love from wholeness instead of woundedness, it's both terrifying and freeing. I think I've always wondered, if I didn't need them to fix me, would they still stay? You're with the wrong person there if they're trying to fix you. If I stood whole, would I still be chosen? So that's coming from fear, right? That this person is certainly taking the veil off. Yeah. So just the title of this upcoming episode already feels like a soul invitation to reflect, to take responsibility, to reimagine what I'm really calling love. Thank you for going there, for having the courage to ask the hard questions with such tenderness. I haven't heard the episode yet, but I already know it's going to speak to something sacred in all of us with gratitude and open-hearted anticipation, a soul choosing wholeness. Thank you so much, a soul choosing wholeness. And I'm so thankful that you have found this meaningful and are doing the deep dive into your relationship. And I wish you love and light.
Yes.
And thank you for watching.
100%. I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in and making Miracles Online podcast successful, and keep sharing. Let us keep growing. And with that, we're going to also introduce again our sponsor, Kingdom Mindset Strategies, and they're going to play us out. And other than that, we'll see you next time on Miracles Online podcast. And here we go.
Well done. You've done something that most people only ever dream about. You've started and kept a business alive, and that's a huge achievement and one you should be proud of. Now, I want to help you make that business unbreakable. My name's Adam, and I've spent the last 20 years of my career leading, growing, and building companies and teams for lasting impact. Whether it's in the corporate world, a brand new small business startup, or a 100-year-old family business, I've seen it and I've led it. And what I've learned is building an unbreakable business often requires similar ingredients: clear financial insights, well-built systems, streamlined growth strategies, and optimized operations. Starting with defining your purpose beyond profit, we unlock strategies across every part of your business so that we can arrive at what I call asymmetric endurance, allowing you to get your time back while the business continues to grow, succeed, and achieve its true purpose. If you're ready to build an unbreakable business, let's talk. Book 15 minutes with me today at kingdommindsetstrategies.com.